Welcome back to Good Times Theater. Today on the show, we're going to discuss what makes a good movie. Some say the dialogue, some say the story, some even say the characters. Personally, I prefer the music.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the second season of Good Times with Bad Movies. I'm Tim Morrison, joined as always by my co-host. He's the master of the merengue and the pachanga and a lot of other dances. Paul Ireland, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Tim. I'm doing really good. That's right. This is season 2. I'm very excited to be here, still doing this. This is fantastic, Tim. How are you, sir?
I'm very happy. This is a good day. This is the start to a brand new year. Happy New Year's, Paul.
Oh, Happy New Year's, Tim. New year, new me.
But the same old Patrick Swayze.
That's right. Same love for Patrick Swayze, I should say.
Yeah. This week we are doing Dirty Dancing. It came out in 1987, distributed by Vestron Pictures. So in case you've never heard of this movie, here is the synopsis. Spending the summer at a Catskills resort with her family, Frances Baby Houseman falls in love with the camp's dance instructor, Johnny Castle. Johnny Castle is played by Patrick Swayze. And this is another movie where, kind of just like Roadhouse, Patrick Swayze is just awesome. So one thing I want to say right off, I didn't understand where this movie took place until, I knew it was that it takes place in some kind of resort, but I didn't really know that it was called a Catskills resort. Is that something from the 60s that I don't know about?
So, I don't really understand what this a Catskills camp is either, but to my understanding, what I think this is it's sort of a resort. I think it seems like it's a lot of just Jewish families go to this place. I could be wrong there, but that's what it seemed like. So weird to say, but they go there and it looks like it's sort of like camping but a resort. But you go and you sing songs and play tennis and swim, I think.
I get the impression that it's like a summer camp for adults.
Sort of. It's where families go, it seems like, to just hang out and have fun. And
yeah, like a hobby mixer.
Yes. I think I don't know what a Catskills. I've never heard the term Catskills before. So I was going to actually ask you that because I don't know what that means.
No.
It's a place where they dance dirty, I guess. This also takes place in 1963. So maybe we should just preface this quickly again here too, because I always feel like we have to when we watch movies that might be somewhat controversial in the sense that I think people might be like, what, that's not a bad movie. Footloose, that's not a bad movie. Dirty Dancing, that's a good movie, and I'm with you there. And I don't want to spoil my thoughts on the movie. I think I'll save that to the end. And it's, I think there's a lot of merit to this movie, but I think we should say the reason initially why we decided to do this was after we did Roadhouse last year. We put it on our Instagram. We said, what do you guys think? Do you want us to keep watching Swayze movies or should we just lay off the Swayze train here? And everyone said, go full steam ahead. And, obviously Ghost, that's a little sad. I don't really want to sit here and make fun of Ghost. I don't think the guy dies in like the first 10 minutes, I think, if I remember correctly. So, we both at that point never seen Dirty Dancing. And I think pretty much up until this now, neither of us have really seen Dirty Dancing before.
Yeah, that's correct. I have not seen this movie prior to watching it for this episode.
Okay, excellent. So this is going to be good because, this movie is just as old as I am and neither of us have seen it. So
I mean, I've seen the, a clip of the end. I think even if you haven't seen Dirty Dancing, you kind of know, you might have seen the ending in pop culture and stuff.
Oh, yeah. I think everybody has heard now and they're spinning around doing whatever. And I don't know. We'll get to there at the end. But yeah, I mean, I've at least seen that and recognize that part of this movie, but I didn't really understand why it was called Dirty Dancing. Another reason I really wanted to do this too is, obviously most people don't know this, but probably about 4 years ago, my dad passed away. And this was for whatever reason, this was a big soundtrack for him. This one in Footloose, for some reason, he really, really liked. And so there's a few songs in here that I'm just like, this is so good. This is so good. There's just it's gonna be really fun to talk about a lot of this stuff, I think.
Yeah, I 100% agree. The soundtrack for this movie is awesome. Arguably, maybe even better than the movie itself, but we'll get into that and talk about it later on because the music is awesome. Like, there's no shortage of good songs in this.
Oh man, there's some great stuff in here. Okay, yeah, but anyways, maybe we should just jump right in this. I think we're rambling a bit.
All right, you ready to get dirty?
Let's dance.
So this movie starts out with kind of like a credits roll and a black and white picture montage of people dancing in the background to the song "Be My Baby." It's like a really old doo-wop song from the 60s. So then we're on the highway and we are in the backseat of a car with Jennifer Grey. Her name is Baby in this, and she is traveling to Kellerman's Lodge. She mentions, kind of narrating here, that she's really excited to join the Peace Corps. Oh, and her sister Lisa is in the car as well.
This is before she betrayed Johnny.
Lisa, you're tearing me apart.
Why, Lisa? Why you dirty dance, Lisa? Why?
So anyways, as they're arriving here into town, it seems to be that there's a whole bunch of different families that are arriving at the same time. I can't tell if this is supposed to be for the summer or what, so I don't know. Everyone's arriving here. It's the season to go to Kellerman's. And you can sort of tell that there's like a bunch of people around just doing random things, dancing and throwing balls and stuff around. And then we immediately go to this area where this girl, who we'll find out later her name is Penny, she's teaching a salsa. Is that what that is?
A merengue class, I believe. Merengue
Class. See, I don't know the names of these dances.
It's only because there's subtitles that I'm gonna know some of these dances here. All right, I'm not a dance specialist. Come on, I'm a white guy. I don't know how to dance. What do I do? Square. I don't even know how to square dance, line dance, whatever it's called.
A square dance, and you just do what you're told.
Is that what you do? Grab your partner, dose do. That's I guess that's that one. Right?
I think you have to. Yeah, I think you have to like know the names of like all the different dance moves and stuff, though.
See, there you go. You still gotta know some dance moves. You can do the square dance.
So that dance class is going on, and then and then across the way in another area or at a restaurant, and Mr. Kellerman, like the owner of this whole place, is here, and he's just like roasting the busboys. He's just basically like, keep your hands off the guests and your hair out of the soup. And he's like, there's a reason I've gone to Yale and Harvard so I could hire you and you can do this. And I don't even understand what he's going on about. Like, why is he so mean to these people?
Well, I mean, these are all like college kids, and I guess, right? Or they're like, it seems like they're all the sons of the rich kids that like their dads are probably patrons here at this place. So, I mean, I don't know, maybe it's his chance just to yell at some rich kids. I don't really know what that is, but it does. Max does not seem like a good guy. We're gonna find out in this movie. Like he's not really a nice guy.
No, he's not. But no sooner we are introduced to Johnny Castle. What a name. I don't know why. Doesn't that sound like a tough name, Johnny Castle?
Well, it's kind of like Frank Castle, the Punisher, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I was thinking about that. I was like, maybe it's his brother. Because he's kind of like dressed like the Terminator. I guess he's supposed to be a greaser because it's early 60s. So he's still hanging on to that greaser thing, I guess. I don't know. He's kind of like Danny Zuko without the little short shorts.
So Max Kellerman here tells Patrick Swayze that he is to do the cha-cha and these other dances, and that's where it ends. You better not touch the guests.
Well, I mean, you know what? To be fair, we're going to find out later on. Patrick Swayze is not holding up his end of the bargain on that.
No.
He's doing the cha-cha with a couple other ladies. The horizontal mambo. So maybe and the family are sitting down for dinner here. And Max comes up, the owner of this place, and his grandson Neil is with him. And if you have ever wanted to see what the profile of a potential serial killer could be, I think you just have to watch this movie and look at this guy Neil, because his eyes are bugging out of his head, and he's got like his receding hairline, and his hair's pulled back really tight there, and he's like, "Hey, how are you?" And it's a really creepy guy, and he's really obnoxious. We're gonna find out in this movie too, and obviously because Max is rich, or he's the grandson of somebody who's really rich, he just feels very entitled. And it just seems obviously like they're going to try, or Max is trying to, get the two, he's playing a little bit of matchmaking, obviously. So they're out on the dance floor having just a terrible time. Well, at least Baby is. And clear the way, because guess who's going to come out? It's Patrick Swayze and his dance partner, Penny. And they are just merengueing up the place. I think that's what this is. It's a salsa, merengue. I don't know what it is. He's dressed like a bullfighter, though. And she's like Olivia Newton-John in Grease.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, and they are tearing it down. You know, there's a few times in this movie I slowed it down because I was like, is that actually Patrick Swayze doing all this stuff? And by George, it is. Patrick Swayze can go.
He can dance. I think he actually used to dance before this, man. I think he was like a dancer.
I think I could be wrong. It might just be from the SNL thing, but was he not actually a member of the Chippendales?
No, I don't think so. We talked about this last time. We were talking about Chris Farley. I don't know.
So I would definitely say Patrick Swayze has had a lot of practice at dancing prior to this movie because he's on it. And everyone in this ballroom or lodge dining area is formed a giant circle around him. And they're all loving it.
It's a rich person dance off here because him and Penny are just ripping the floor up now. And it's getting actually a little greasy out there on the dance floor, it looks like, too. As we're going to see, this is the theme of this movie here. I'd like to call this greasy dancing.
You call that greasy dancing? I don't know, Paul.
Well, maybe it's not greasy dancing.
There might be a little bit of a prude there.
Okay, maybe
I think
it's not greasy dancing, but it's fun to call it greasy dancing, all right? Let me call it greasy dancing. So they're out there greasy dancing, and because she's putting her leg up really high on him right now. So I guess for like 1963, this is quite provocative, right? She puts her leg right. She basically does sweet chin music and lands her knee right on Patrick Swayze's shoulder, and she just slides down on him. And you can see Max coming out of the corner here, and he is not having it, and he is giving them the hook. He's like red lighting them, like get off.
Yeah, he's saying get those vertical splits out of here. After that's over, we're treated to this weird little magic show where Baby here. I feel so weird saying Baby.
Yeah, can we just call her Ferris Bueller's sister?
Ah, that's what she's from. I knew that she was from something else. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and real quick too, not to get on a tangent, but before Dirty Dancing, I didn't know she was in this, obviously. So I just always associated her with Ferris Bueller's sister, right? So every time I see this movie, it's hard to be sympathetic to her because I'm like, man, she was just such a prick in the first, and then Ferris Bueller, right? She's always just trying to get him in trouble.
Yeah, she got her desserts in the end though. She got a strung out Charlie Sheen.
Oh yeah.
So we're treated to a quick little magic show, and then after that, Baby is walking home in the dark, I guess to her lodge or something, and this guy who is the cousin of Johnny Castle is like kind of like walking up the trail with these giant watermelons. Are those huge watermelon?
Yeah, he's got 3 large watermelons.
I've never seen watermelons that look like that before.
These things are massive. These are like potato sacks. There's like 3 large potato sacks, but they're watermelons, I guess. And again, this is just me making assumptions, but I'm just presuming that they're filled with like vodka or something. That's what I thought, because he just like, why would you have these large watermelons and you bring them to where we're gonna find out in a second, right?
Yeah, I guess he is looking for a little bit of help to carry these watermelons, and he asks Baby here if she can keep a secret. And she's like, yeah, sure. So this seems so creepy to describe. So after she says that she can keep a secret, they go up in the dark to this old barn.
She's holding the watermelon too.
Yeah, she's holding the watermelon. This guy's got 2. And then they open the doors. And it looks like really smoky in there. Even though you don't see anybody smoking, there's this like giant haze. And the song Do You Love Me is playing. And then we see what's really going on here. And this is what I believe the movie is referring to as Dirty Dancing.
Okay, so this is what I would call greasy dancing, because now everybody is just grinding on each other.
Oh, Paul, yeah, this is greasy. When you mention greasy, this is greasy. This is borderline not dancing and foreplay.
Yeah, this is like second base we're seeing right now. Is what's going on in a lot of moves here. It's some heavy petting right now. People bumping and grinding.
It seems like a bunch of people who aren't allowed to have sex. And this is like the closest they can get at summer camp and the Kellerman's Lodge. Maybe, I don't know. But there is some heavy grinding going on here.
Yeah, and everybody is dressed like Happy Days too. I think we should note that as well. I love it. Guys are wearing like the little paperboy hats and stuff, and people got their hair all slicked back, and people are smoking, and it's just awesome. I love the whole vibe of everybody's like attire in this. Everyone's costume, they look great. This is amazing.
In the middle of this whole grind here, Patrick Swayze and his dance partner Penny are just breaking it down again. And they have like, it's almost like everybody is choreographed with them. Like at one point, Patrick Swayze just does this trust fall and falls backwards, and they like actually catch him and start like bobbing him along with the music and stuff. It's really good. He can dance.
Yeah, everyone seems like they take dancing very seriously here too. Like it's like these people are all backup dancers for something. Because I've just never seen that many people seriously dancing in a place at once. It's kind of like a retro You Got Served. I wonder this too. Do you think that a bunch of these people got together after hours and were like, okay, guys, so we'll all work on this weird little swishy little arm move together. Here, guys, ready? 1, 2, swish, swish. And they were, like, how does that all work?
Yeah, I would say they definitely, after hours, when all the adults are distracted, they go out and they grind. And then once they're done grinding, they practice moves for the next grind. So Baby here is a little bit curious about the grind, and Patrick Swayze kind of invites her out and teaches her how to grind. Now, while he's teaching her how to grind, she hasn't like found her rhythm, right? This girl doesn't dance very much, or at least she's certainly not used to dancing like this. And for a few moments here, Patrick Swayze is just straight up dry humping her because she's not even moving along with the rhythm, and he's moving his pelvis at her. And yeah, for a moment, it's really kind of awkward looking. By the way, if you watch this whole entire scene and you turn off the volume, it looks way more dirty.
Oh yeah, because he's just like directing her too. He's like, yeah, just do this, and he is like trying to stab at her with his groin right now. It's incredible what is going on, and and she's got this look on her face, obviously, that she has just never had her pelvis ground on by another man's pelvis before, right? So it's just a lot of interesting reactions going on by this actress. This is amazing.
So I don't know if we've explained this yet. All of these people in the barn, and Patrick Swayze and Penny, are hired entertainment at Kellerman's Lodge for the summer, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like this, someone's renting out you canoes, and they're also a professional dancer on the side somehow. That's what it seems like. What's going on?
That night is over with, and the very next morning, we see a bunch of ladies on the beach trying on some Elizabeth Taylor wigs.
Yeah, what is going on here? Why are they all doing wigs? Is this like part of the thing? This is part of the retreat?
Paul, there's so much of this movie that I was wondering, is this what life was like in the 60s? Like, was that a thing? Like, what's your hobby? Oh, I like to try on Elizabeth Taylor wigs.
Yeah, you just wear wigs in the sand and just wait for a Beatles album to come out, I guess. That's what happens.
And so Newman from Seinfeld here is constantly running around with this megaphone, just shouting out all the different hobbies that are going on. There's charades, every hobby that you could think of that you would like do with your family if you had like no electricity or there's a storm or something. That's what this place is all about. We're at the evening now, and Baby here is hanging out with Neil. And this guy is just a pompous, arrogant creep. He's basically just telling her about how cool he is because he owns 2 hotels. Like his whole self-worth is based on like, his money and his income and all that. And Baby is totally turned off by this. However, out of the bushes comes Baby's sister, Lisa, who is hanging out with this other guy named Robbie. And she seems like really offended by something. And he's basically like, hey, if you're waiting around for an apology, you're like, don't hold your breath kind of thing. And then there's this like awkward exchange where like Neil's like, I'm sorry you had to see that, baby. We all get to see some things we don't like sometimes. And they decide to like go into this like cafeteria area that's like after hours. They're in the kitchen here. They decide that they're going to get something to eat. And while they're there, Baby spots out of the corner of her eye, like hiding underneath of like a counter or something, Penny is just like bawling her eyes out and trembling. Like she looks like someone is like she's going through something traumatic. She looks terrified, scared. She's got the tremors and she's shaking. Her makeup is a mess. And Baby kind of just like makes up this excuse to get Neil out of there. And she gets back to like the main area, this gazebo where Patrick Swayze and all the other dancers are hanging out, and tells Patrick Swayze that Penny is in the cafeteria here and she's crying. Johnny Castle here comes in and he scoops her up in his arms, and he does this several times again throughout the movie. And he goes, don't worry, Johnny Castle's here. Johnny's here, baby. But he's not talking to Baby, he's talking to Penny. God, that's so confusing. So anyways, they're here in this like little barn area. I guess the same place they were dancing in before. And Penny is just a mess. And we find out that she is pregnant and she has no money to like go to a doctor, nor does she have the time. And Baby automatically assumes that it's Johnny's baby since him and Penny used to date, but he's not. And Patrick Swayze gets like super offended right away at the accusation that he's the father. It's like, what? What do you think of me? And it's like, that's kind of rude. With like the girl here who's pregnant right beside you.
Yeah, like, well, yeah. Also, too, like you guys were grinding on each other pretty hard about 7-8 minutes ago.
So through this conversation, we find out that it wasn't Johnny that is responsible for the pregnancy. It was this other guy named Robbie that we met a little while ago, who is also messing around with Baby's sister.
Yeah.
Yeah. So right away, there's a lot of stress here. They got to figure out how they're going to get Penny looked after. And it's going to cost $250 as well. So that's a problem. Now, Baby has this idea. Okay. Her idea is to go to her father, because her parents are one of the wealthy families here, and ask for $250. She won't tell him why, but he's like, it's a lot of money. And she's like, will you just trust me? And he's like, all right, baby, as long as you're doing it to help other people. And she takes the money. We're going to come back to this. By the way, her father is a doctor.
Yeah. In 1963, apparently can just throw around $250 like that. Apparently has $250 on him right then and there. Like, damn. I don't know what that is, right? And like inflation got us down now, but like, damn.
So Baby takes this money back to the Dirty Dancing Barn. And she shows Johnny and Penny, hey, we got this money. Penny, go get fixed. Go get fixed up. Get yourself looked after. And oh, that's not funny, Paul.
Oh, that's not funny. Sorry, I shouldn't. Sorry, it's the way that we came out there.
So Penny doesn't want to accept the money because she has a really tough schedule coming up. Her and Johnny are contracted for quite a few more different dance performances around the community, as well as at Kellerman's. So at first she's like, no. But they kind of talk some sense into Penny, like, hey, this pregnancy isn't just going to go away. So you're going to have to get yourself looked after. And she's like, okay, well, who's going to take my place? And Baby here steps up to the plate because she just wants to dance. This is the most freedom she's felt in a long time.
Getting her pelvis rubbed on by Patrick Swayze is the most free she's felt so far, I guess. Yeah.
Hey, you don't run into a Patrick Swayze every day. So everything's a go. Clear skies ahead. Penny's going to get looked after. Baby's going to dance.
Patrick Swayze's cousin mentions that they're going to be dancing at the Sheldrake on Thursday. It's just another hotel where they do their mambo act on the side. And if they don't, I guess if they don't show up for this and they don't do a good job, then apparently they're not going to get booked for next year. They have to do this one gig, apparently on Thursday, so they can get booked next year. But that's apparently the whole stipulation here. To me, the biggest question there is like, first of all, what day is it right now? Okay. And we're going to, like, to me, like in this movie, how long is this entire movie? How long? I know they're supposed to be at this whole camp resort thing for like 3 weeks, her and her family. But the whole time frame in here just really confuses me a lot because I don't know how long. It seems like we're going to see here that she's going to have quite a few days in between now and this performance, which apparently is Thursday. So what day is it now? Was it last Thursday? Was it Friday? Was it Monday? How long? They don't explain that part. I don't know if you know that. I mean, like, maybe she's a really fast dancer. Maybe she's a really fast learner.
Yeah, I didn't even know that this was supposed to be 3 weeks long. Like, I thought that they were here for a whole summer.
Yeah, no, at the start of the movie, she said that they were there for 3 weeks.
And I'm way off then.
And Max said something like, the next 3 weeks are going to seem like a year here, which to me kind of makes sense because I'm like, how long? This is a place that time stands still in. I don't know what goes on in this place, except a lot of dirty dancing. Apparently, people grinding on each other.
Now we're going to get another montage because this movie is full of dance montages, rightfully so.
Yeah, this is like another Footloose movie where there's like 6 dance montages.
You know what, though? The dancing in this is much better.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, well, it's definitely a lot better.
Are you kidding me?
Okay, yeah, sorry. It's better.
You put Kevin Bacon up against Patrick Swayze, Patrick Swayze is going to burn a hole around him any day.
Well, I liked his cocaine dancing at the end of Footloose, so.
That's pretty good, but that only lasts for an hour.
No, that's true. Patrick Swayze's really good. He's a very, very, very skilled dancer. R.I.P. Patrick Swayze.
And this montage is interesting. We get one of the best songs in the movie, Hungry Eyes.
Oh, God. I love the song.
Yeah, that song is awesome. Hungry Eyes.
But yeah, no, this is a great song. Damn, man. It's so good. The chord progression, just the keyboard, the guitar is awesome. So good, man. I would love to hear like a hard rock cover version of this. Not like hard rock, like Creed hard rock, but like a tastefully done heavier version of this song. I think would be cool.
Well, this montage lasts almost the full length of the song. And basically, the only thing that changes throughout, obviously, Baby here is improving her dance skills quite quickly. And Penny is also helping. So the three of them are dancing together. As this montage progresses, the clothes become less and less.
You're right. She's slowly getting more and more naked as the montage goes on.
By the end of it, Patrick Swayze here has no shirt on. He's just in his pair of slacks. And Baby here appears to just be in a shirt and a pair of panties. So anyways, that was a giant montage. The best part of it was Hungry Eyes.
I'm sure. Well, for the women, or anybody that likes Patrick Swayze, right? Seeing him without a shirt on, doing his little dance moves, right? Sure. That's again, this is the whole point. This is like a Swayze sexploitation kind of thing, except less, I guess in this one, a little less him with the shirt off getting, stabbed and stuff.
Yeah, it's not quite as much. After that whole montage is done, it's nighttime, it's raining. Patrick Swayze has locked his keys in his car, so he finds his wooden post here, just in the ground, takes it out and smashes a hole in his car, unlocks it. Him and Baby get in, they go for a drive. Suddenly it's daytime and it's still raining. Did you notice that? It just completely changes to daytime and they're like driving through the woods.
Okay, right. So they're like dancing and they're having a hard time here. He's getting frustrated. He's like, all right, let's go for a drive. His keys are locked in the car. He smashes the window. They drive off into the middle of the forest, right? Where you mentioned it's not raining now and it's like daytime. And they just hang out on a log. Like he smashed his window so they could go sit on a log in the forest. That didn't. Why did he do that? That's what I was going to ask you. Why the hell did Patrick Swayze smash his window to get in there?
Well, here's the thing. Also, I kind of want to touch on now. He's supposed to be poor, okay?
Yes.
Like all these dancers and entertainers are supposed to be like in this movie. They're depicted as like lower class, uneducated, poor people, and like that's why it's so important for him to not miss these gigs and miss it on a gig next year or something like that, right? So, but at the same time, he seems like completely non-frugal with his money. He just, instead of like getting a coat hanger or something to open this car door, unlock it, he got a piece of wood and smashed it. And I think to answer your question, why he did that, I think it was just to show that he is wild. Johnny Castle is a wild man.
Is he though? Because he just seems like he just hangs out and he dances and he's not like super, he just smokes a lot and dances and drinks some beer. That's kind of about as wild as this man gets, it seems like.
That was pretty wild for the 60s.
Like currently, the only thing he's doing right now is teaching this girl how to dance. That is about it in his life right now. So I don't really know how wild he is. He just looks like he could be wild, I guess, for the time.
So he's teaching her to dance on this giant log here that's about, I don't know, I would say it's about a good 8 to 10 feet above a brook. And that seems like a dangerous thing to do. Like if you're that concerned about making your gigs and stuff, why would you be out in the woods like balancing on these things? Like you better dance right or you break a leg, literally.
I don't really understand that, but he does kind of give his origin story, so to speak, in this. Because at one point, Baby asks him, how did you get into dancing? And he's like, oh, I was just in this luncheonette, which I don't know what that is. I'm assuming that's just like a restaurant or something. He's hanging out with some people.
So yeah, it's a coffee cafe.
Yeah, and then just some guy came in and was like, hey, do you want to dance? And if you can pass a test, you can teach a class. And he somehow didn't think this was A, weird, and B, legitimate. And he was like, okay, I guess I'll just dance. And so I don't know if he had experience before that or not, but he just started dancing at that point and they taught him how to dance, I guess. Maybe they're like, can you do the mashed potato? I don't know. What is it? It was 50s dances? I don't know.
To finish up this lesson, the last thing that he's trying to teach Baby here is this move where she runs at him and he catches her and lifts her up over his head and kind of twirls her around like if she plays like she's an airplane. There's probably a specific name for this dancing maneuver.
I call it the finger puppet, honestly.
Whoa, wow. Yeah. Okay.
And I'm not even going to comment why. If you've seen the movie, maybe you can just, I don't know.
He's lifting her up by the waist, if anyone's wondering. So, anyways, they can't get it right. And he goes, you know what? Like, because they were in the field. He says, you know what? The best place to learn this is in the water. So they get in the water and do it. They're just in this lake, this random lake here. And it's like almost nighttime too. And he just keeps dropping her, but she doesn't like fully trust him either. So, they're working on it.
And of course, Patrick Swayze has his shirt off again. He's got it. This is what we were talking about last time. There is like a certain quota on his contract where he's like, I'm just taking my shirt off no less than 3 times in this movie. Okay. And they're like, yeah, no problem. You're Patrick Swayze. You can do whatever you want, dude. You just got to dance for us.
He must have enchanted Hollywood. And they were just like, you know what? We need this guy to take his shirt off as much as possible before he gets old. So I guess we're finally at Thursday. And Baby here has got her sister to cover for her so that she can sneak out of the lodge and go to this dancing gig, this mambo gig with Johnny Castle here. And they do the show. It goes off without a hitch, except she tries to do the part where he lifts her up and they don't quite do it.
I love this part because he lines her up at the end of the stage and he's like, come on. And she runs at him. And the last second, she just completely wimps out and stops and then turns to the crowd and does this like, she's got 2 thumbs going, shuffling them either way, doing like a left and right. And this big goofy smile on her face. Like, I have no clue what's going on. It is this is brilliant acting. I think this is amazing.
It reminds me of when Ashley Simpson was caught lip syncing on Saturday Night Live, and she's like, "Oh, okay, this isn't gonna work. Well, I'll just do this little dance here." And
yeah, just smiling away and kicking her feet like, I'm just gonna do this for 4 minutes, and I'm gonna walk off the stage.
What a night they've had! This is just positive energy all around. Baby here is at an all-time high because she's finally getting to dance a little bit. Patrick Swayze is happy, that he's got his gig. He's gonna get paid. They get back to the Kellerman's Lodge. And as soon as they pull into, I guess, the Dirty Dancing barn, because it seems as though they all live in this barn or something. I don't know. Or Johnny Castle has his own room, and Penny does as well. But anyways, one of their dancing croonies come out, and they tell him, like, you need to get in here right now. It's Penny. So Johnny Castle and Baby rush into this lodge cabin where Penny is. And just like before, she is very distraught, traumatized, crying. She's in a lot of pain. And Baby says, okay, enough's enough. I have to go get my father because he's a doctor. So the doctor comes and we find out that the place where they took Penny to get checked out by this doctor was, I don't know, I guess he was like a crank doctor. He wasn't really very good. All we know is that he had like a rusty knife and locked her in a room and she was screaming, and the person who was escorting her there couldn't get in to help her. So by the time he got her, she was just like screaming and in pain, and he brought her back to the lodge here. And now Baby's father is tending to her and he fixes her up. He at least like makes her feel better. And he kind of admonishes Johnny Castle in the process because he assumes that Johnny Castle is the father. And he tells Baby that you're not going to be hanging out with these people, this crew anymore.
You're not dirty dancing anymore.
No, it's enough of that. He doesn't even know about the dirty dancing. So Baby and her father kind of have a little bit of a falling out here where he says, Baby, you're not the girl I thought you were. And I guess it's all over hanging out with these people.
Well, I mean, they just went to this camp. How long have they been at this camp for? And this has all happened?
True. Yeah, this is a lot.
You're like, we came down here to play shuffleboard and like hang out and watch a ventriloquist at night. And this is, you asked me for $250 and this is all going on here. And he's got to help this girl out, So I'm sure he's just mind blown. Imagine that you getting woke up at 2:00 in the morning and they're like, Dad, grab your bag and you got to deal with this.
Yeah, it's a lot. Anyways, Baby sneaks right back out and goes over to Johnny Castle's room to get some more dance practice in.
even though they just came back from their little gig. And again, he's not wearing his shirt.
Nope, no shirt.
No, but he's just like hanging out in a wheelchair out here, though. I guess it's not a wheelchair. It's just a weird looking chair. It's very unique for the 60s. It's like a rocking chair, I guess. I'm an idiot.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's just a rocking chair. It's not a wheelchair.
Oh.
Patrick Swayze is hanging out the bar in a wheelchair. Anyways. So,
it's like the second time we're watching this, okay? I don't know. Anyways.
Yeah. So, anyways, long story short, Penny has had a miscarriage.
No.
No, that didn't happen yet?
Penny didn't have a miscarriage.
Oh. I thought
That was an abortion.
Oh, okay. Okay, so was this whole thing supposed to be an abortion? I thought she just wanted to go see a doctor.
No. So she got pregnant and she wanted to have an abortion because she just didn't want to have this kid. So it's 1963 and abortions are legal right now in the United States. I think it's like 10 years later, Roe v. Wade comes in. But so she went to go see some crazy back alley guy, and that's why they was in some sketchy hotel. And all that stuff happened. And she obviously was really, really sick because he did a horrible job and all this stuff happened to her. So she was like, she was probably had infection going on there or something bad happening to her, right? I mean, that's just speculation. But yeah, that's
terrible.
That's what happened, man. Yeah.
Oh, poor Penny. And this Robbie here, he wants nothing to do with it.
Robbie's a scumbag. Robbie is an absolute scumbag.
He's like, some people win, some people lose.
Shame on you, Robbie.
Yeah, Robbie's terrible. But Lisa, baby's sister, is just like in love with Robbie for some reason.
She loves the bad boys. Why can't they all be merengue dancers like Swayze? Maybe this won't make this. Maybe this should not make this. Because I don't really want to make jokes about all this stuff. But after this happened, and she had a fight with her dad. And her dad's like, I just had to go out in the middle of the night and tend to this poor girl. And all this stuff happened. You're not the person that I thought you were. And I'm not going to tell your mom about this and all this stuff. And you need to stay away from these people and blah, blah, blah. She goes over to see Patrick Swayze. And they have sex. Okay. I'm just saying, I hope they were safe. All right? I hope they were safe.
I hope so. I wouldn't have to get her father back out here again, So, anyways, it seems like all is good. They had sex. Baby is happy. Patrick Swayze feels really, really inspired now. He has all of these different ideas for new dances and performances that he can do. Because he says that Baby is such an inspiration.
Oh, what is going on?
Then we cut to like another dance practice scene where they kind of start getting a little bit too close. They're in broad daylight here, like in a dance hall with like in broad daylight. So they're not supposed to be dirty dancing. They're supposed to be practicing dancing. And Neil here, the grandson of the owner here of Catskills Lodge, kind of sort of interrupts them and catches them dirty dancing in the act. And he's planning the annual talent show. That's the show activity thing that this lodge does at the end of every season. And at the end of the show, Patrick Swayze always does a big dance number to end off the whole occasion. So Neil here is talking to him and saying, hey, I've got some ideas. And Patrick Swayze is like, no, I got some ideas too. I got all these great new dance moves and these rhythms. And he is like, no. I just want you to do the pachanga. And this really, really sours Johnny Castle. He slams the lid on this like desk or something down. I don't know what it is, but he makes a big noise because he's really annoyed and totally frustrated. He walks away and he's just kind of questioning his life now. because he has to do the pachanga. He always does the pachanga and he's so tired of doing that pachanga.
Like, come on, if you had to do the pachanga 6 times a day, you'd be pretty pissed off about that too.
Yeah, and here's what I'm wondering. Now, like, I'm not a dancer. I'm no Patrick Swayze. But like, say if you're doing like this gig like once a year, it's one dance, how much does it really matter?
Right? Yeah, I don't know. Probably not that much. I mean, maybe it's just, probably frustrated. Maybe he wants to just get, let himself free, and he wants to be like an artist with his dance or something. I don't know what he's doing.
Well, that's right. And these people are not letting him. They're just not letting Patrick Swayze express himself.
No, you know what I think happened here, Tim, is they didn't let him express himself through dancing, so eventually he had to turn to pottery, and then he was unfortunately murdered. So it's unfortunate. That's what happens when you can't express yourself through dance. So that's an important lesson we need to learn here. Before we get off here, just a question. This is maybe what I was wondering. Why are they still dancing together? Because they did the dance already. So is it just she likes dancing and they're dancing now, or they're just like a couple but they're not a couple, or like because they're not training for a gig now, right? But they're grinding on each other and working on moves and stuff.
Yeah, that's a good question. I think that this is the.
Well, I mean, the answer is I think she just likes grinding on Patrick Swayze's stuff there, but
well, that's it. It's both of their favorite things that they've discovered to do. So that's
what a coincidence.
Yeah, that's how they express the love for each other. This is a blossoming romance, and it's based on Dirty Dancing.
Yeah, it's only like a 17-year age difference too.
Yeah.
There you go.
And, that's why it's called Dirty Dancing.
Let's work through this next little scene here, Tim. Maybe you and I can both figure this out here. So this guy Robbie, this horrible guy, he comes out, right? This guy's an absolute scumbag. If there was like crowd music or like a live studio audience in this whole time, I'd be like, boo. We hate you, Robbie. Without trying to swear, like, you're a piece of, like he's throwing stuff at this guy.
Throwing tomatoes at him. We
hate you, Robbie. Yeah, Robbie's a scumbag. No one likes Robbie. And anyways, he comes walking out and he's got his little stupid little boat shoes on and his cotton dockers and his little stupid knitted shawl and his little stupid smile and his Ray Romano hair. And he's like, oh, looks like I picked the wrong sister. Because he's standing there and Patrick Swayze and Baby are hanging out. And Patrick Swayze hauls off and just belts him right in the face. So what I think this is, or because I was confused about this whole scenario that unfolded before our eyes here too, but just kind of working through this now and kind of working back with everything that's been mentioned here. When earlier on in the movie, when that guy Neil, that loser Neil, was out hitting on Baby, we saw Robbie and Lisa, Baby's sister, come out. And he was like, I'm not going to apologize or something like that. And she was all upset about that. So what I think happened is he tried to make a move on her. He tried to grope her, right? She obviously shut him down. She's like, not happening, bro. And then she stormed off. And that's why she was like fixing her shirt and stuff. And he's like, I'm not going to apologize or whatever he said, right? And so then obviously everyone knows that they're an item right now. So he's just more or less, I think he's more or less taking a shot at Swayze and her, being like, oh, this girl puts out, the other one doesn't. And I tried to molest her. Why are all these movies, they're just doing this greasy stuff like this? This is horrible.
It is. This is awful. But, he gets his comeuppance.
That's right. Swayze just roadhouses this guy in Dirty Dancing.
Yeah. Kicks him in the gut a few times and sends him on his way. Which is a shame because just in a couple scenes prior, Lisa was talking to Baby and said, well, I've decided that tonight I'm going to let Robbie go all the way.
Come on, Lisa. Why?
Why, Lisa? Why, Lisa? Why?
Why, Lisa? Why? Yeah, come on. Don't make these bad decisions.
So everybody is getting ready for this talent show. This is like the biggest thing. This is the biggest event of the summer at this lodge is the talent show. And, we're seeing people like painting stuff, props and that kind of thing. Meanwhile, Baby's sister Lisa is practicing her part for the talent show. And she's singing this song. I can't know. Paul, you don't know the name of it, do you?
I have no idea what this is called.
I know I've heard it's a really old tune. Anyways, you just have to hear this.
Yeah, I'm assuming this is like some sort of traditional Hawaiian song, maybe, potentially. I don't know. Forgive me if I'm ignorant on this. I don't know. That's what it kind of seems like. This is what's supposed to be going on. Yeah,
it sounds like a Copacabana type song.
Yeah, okay, we'll call it that.
I want you all to hear this and just ask yourselves how much of a chance do you think she has at winning this talent show?
And you can walk all you want, and you can walk while I walk away, away, away.
Oh. And she's doing this horrible dance with it too. It's like
and not even like a baseball slide at the end. They're just kind of like a very slow fall to her knees.
Yeah, so you can go to where you want to, Walla Walla, something like that. Anyways, I don't think she's gonna win.
You gotta hope the next person in front of her is like Tanya Harding, and she's about to figure skating, and Jeff Gillooly's waiting in the wing. That's the only chance you're gonna win this talent contest.
So right after that, she decides she's going to go to Robbie's lodge here and, go all the way. He has there's this like towel hanging on the doorknob, so she's like, all right, well, he already knows. And she opens the door, and Robbie is in there having sex with another girl.
It's an old lady. It's what they call one of the bungalow bunnies there. I think her name is Vivian, actually, and her husband is like some rich guy who just hangs out, and he only comes up on the weekends, and she stays there for the whole week, and she does the horizontal mambo with Swayze.
She's getting dance lessons as well.
Up until Swayze and Baby were an item, she was getting private dance lessons from Swayze there. Probably at different hours of the night. Who knows? Maybe a couple of times during the day.
Okay, maybe this might make more sense if this whole thing is like a scheme for all these like old married women to like go out and spend a week to get dance lessons away from their husbands.
Yeah, they're just getting roadhoused by Swayze in the bedroom there.
As she finishes up with Robbie, she's leaving the lodge. She also sees Baby kissing Patrick Swayze, and she decides she's going to cause some trouble.
So now we're back at the clubhouse here, and looks like Max is sitting there with Baby's father and Baby, and they're all having breakfast. And Max is really disappointed, and he said he found out one of his staff is a thief, and they kind of questioned. They say, "What are you talking about?" And it looks like Vivian, the lady that Swayze used to give private dance lessons to, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, sex. She's now accusing Swayze of stealing someone's wallet. Apparently, there's been a few wallets that have gone missing through the club here, and she has pointed them in the direction of Patrick Swayze. So what happens is Max reveals now that he's probably just gonna have to fire Patrick Swayze, and Baby pipes up, and she kind of holds back for a second, but she says, I know he's innocent because, I have an alibi for him because I was hanging out with him last night. He didn't actually take this guy's wallet. So now Max and Baby's father find out about their relationship, and it's over now for Swayze, it looks like. They said, okay, you didn't steal the wallet, but you were giving private dance lessons to people you shouldn't have, apparently. So you got to just get out of here, man. Maybe you should just head out to the Double Deuce. So now Swayze leaves town here, and Baby is just brokenhearted, just devastated. It looks like she can't dirty dance anymore. She's not getting her pelvis grinded. Well,
They did find out right before Patrick Swayze leaves. He informs Baby that they did some fingerprints. They took some dusted for prints on some wine glasses and linked it back to this Vivian girl. I think, I'm not sure who, but basically he was found innocent. However, the stipulation for him to keep his summertime bonus was that he just had to leave right away because they weren't going to let him off the hook for mingling with Baby.
Yeah. So what happened there is it wasn't actually. So Vivian lied. Vivian didn't steal the wallets. What happened was in a scene or two before Patrick Swayze and Baby danced at their little Mambo tryout thing, we saw there was this old lady. Her name was Mrs. Schumacher, and she comes out of this building, and it's like a bingo hall or something, right? And she drops her purse, and a bunch of wallets spill out of this thing. And Baby stops and helps her pick up the wallets because this lady is also, she hangs out at the resort that they're at right now. And so she saw her there, and she was worried about getting spotted off the resort. But she also helped this lady with the wallets too. And what happens is, the reason why Mrs. Schumacher didn't say that she saw her there is because, it turns out they traced her fingerprints back to these wallets and these glasses. So they actually found out that this old lady and her husband have been running around this place pinching wallets off people, and they've been doing it to a couple places around here.
Oh, good. They were caught. And Patrick Swayze is innocent, but he still has to skip town.
The pickpockets were a bunch of old people.
It's always the ones you'd never suspect.
But I mean, it kind of makes sense in this place, right? This place almost seems like a retirement community. It really does. It's just a retirement community where they just drag their kids and grandkids along to.
Yeah, and pay for the wives to get dance lessons. So, yeah, like you said, Baby is very depressed. She's sad. The love of her life is gone. Everything that she had hoped for. as far as being inspired and dancing seems to have gone down the drain. Now we are at the talent show. It's funny that we actually don't see any talents whatsoever. It appears as though it's the very end of the talent show now. Like it has happened. We don't get to see it. And the staff are singing this like annual closing ceremony song that I guess is going to be in place of what would normally be the annual dance that Patrick Swayze would perform. But then, out of nowhere, out comes Patrick Swayze. He's got his leather jacket on, and he means business. He's got a very serious look on his face. And he walks up to the table where Baby and her family are sitting, and he says the line, "Nobody puts Baby in the corner." And that's the line, Paul, that everybody like knows from this movie. It's funny, like some of the things that stick out in pop culture, of all the things in this movie, "Nobody puts Baby in the corner" is one of the things that most people remember.
Yeah, I mean, like, I know she's kind of sitting beside a column here, and it's kind of against a wall, but...
Yeah, if you've never seen this movie, just to clarify, she is not in a corner. Patrick Swayze's like, "Look, I taught this girl how to dance over these past 3 weeks. I'm going to do this dance." And that's literally what he does. He walks up while everyone is singing, and he stops, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm sorry, I know you had a lot of stuff planned here." He's like Kanye West, like 25 years like before Kanye West. He's like, "Just 1 second, I'll give you the mic back, let me finish." He goes, "I do the dance every single year, and this year is not going to be any different. And I've got the most beautiful, most talented, most inspiring dance partner around, and we're going to do our dance right now." And, you know, half the people are like, "Oh my God, he's not going to do it." But, you know, he does. And then, you know, Baby and Patrick Swayze get close, really close, pelvises touching. And the song that everyone knows from this movie, along with Hungry Eyes, "I've had the time of my life" starts. "I've had the time of my life." Yeah, so they're like slow dancing a little bit because, you know, the beginning of the song is very slow and romantic. And then as soon as it starts, they start doing the mambo, pangachu, whatever these names, the maranga.
The Pikachu.
Doing the Pikachu. So they start doing this dance. And like as the song picks up, and it's awesome. It's a really good routine. And then at one point during the peak of the song, Patrick Swayze looks at her, and she's on the stage. They're both on the stage together. He looks at her and he's like, "All right, see you later." And it's like jumps off the stage, leaves Baby on the stage by herself. And Patrick Swayze like jumps off the stage into like the mid aisleway, like the walkway. And man, he just lets loose. He's like shaking his hair. This is like Flashdance level, right? Like maniac. "I'm a maniac, maniac." And he's like doing these twirls around. This is the part in the movie where I actually paused it a few times because I was like, is that actually him doing it? And it is him. Patrick Swayze has got some mean moves. And he's like dancing towards like the exit of the building. And then he like turns around and everybody from the Dirty Dancing Barn is there. And they all start doing the exact same choreographed dance, moving back up the walkway towards Jennifer Grey, Baby. And I don't know, I feel like she kind of looks awkward there. She's kind of like just there, like sort of strutting on the spot. She's probably thinking in her head, "I hope he comes back soon. Doesn't like just leave me up here to dance by myself."
Yeah, she's smiling awkwardly and kind of swishing her skirt a little bit and being like, "Oh, hello." Even though she just spent like what seems like 3 months learning moves from Patrick Swayze here. And it's crazy that the whole Dirty Dancing crew just came in out of nowhere. This was like a flash mob.
Right. It's like he quit. And then like hours later, he was like, "You know what?" And called up everybody. He's like, "We're doing it anyways. We're doing it anyways."
Yeah, I was just curious. Do you think that there's like an alternate version of this movie where it's just like Patrick Swayze ruins everybody's summer here, where he's just apparently ruining everybody's marriage, sleeping with their wives, corrupting this girl, and, you know, stealing money off them to pay for all kinds of medical stuff, and, you know, and then ruining their whole thing at the end of this. Their like end of the summer tradition here, just coming up on the stage and being like, "No, I know you guys were gonna sing your pirate song there, but I'm just gonna do a dirty dance with the doctor's daughter here for you guys right now."
Yeah, you know, granted, this is a great dance number. It's well choreographed, but it is pretty selfish on Johnny's part.
This is a tremendous dance. You're absolutely right. This is like hats off to them. This is fantastic skills. I can't undersell that enough, like, or oversell that enough, whatever it is. The correct terminology is, you can't express that enough, I guess, how tremendous her dancing is in this.
Well, Baby has improved her dancing skills in such a way now that to top this whole dance number off, she is able to do the run and jump and lift and be twirled around like an airplane. And everybody's happy.
Again, we lose Patrick Swayze's hands in the skirt for a moment there, it looks like.
Oh, yes. They're gone.
Okay, anyways. This is keep this family friendly.
Yeah, and now everybody is on their feet dancing. All's forgiven. Penny's out dancing. She feels a lot better now. And, that's it. Basically, these two are in love. They've had the time of their life. They finally got to dance dirty in front of everybody in public. And it made everybody happy. Yeah, this doctor's only spoken to Patrick Swayze for like 3 minutes collectively, and this dancing is enough to redeem his character, apparently. He's like, all right, you've got my blessing. Mazel tov, you crazy kids, get out there. Because this is pretty much the end, but before we say that's the end. So this is in 1963. Don't you feel like this is kind of like a Back to the Future moment? When Marty McFly is playing in the gymnasium there, and they all start kind of breaking, and everyone's like shocked and whatnot about it and stuff, right? Like, this is 1963, and the song I've Had the Time of My Life is playing. Like, wouldn't anybody be a little bit like, whoa, what is this music? Thank you. He showed up with a record. He showed up with the I've Had the Time of My Life record that came out in 1987 and played it in 1963. They also played Hungry Eyes, which also came out in 1987, I think. It's at least the 80s, okay? Eric Carmen. And they're playing these vinyls in 1963. How does that make sense? I don't know. That's just a musical loophole you just got to buy, I guess, in this movie. Yeah, you just have to get over that. But I don't think that in 1963, maybe in some places, but I don't think there's a lot of people dancing like this. I could be wrong. Right? Okay, well, it's like you know what I mean? We're hearing all this old time, like kind of like, old, like Chuck Berry or like Otis Redding kind of music playing, and then all of a sudden you just hear like electric drums and stuff going on here and saxophones. It's like, this is all 80s stuff, guys. What's going on here? So anyways, this movie, we end on I've Had the Time of My Life, and the credits roll, and that is Dirty Dancing. And I've also had the time of my life. Oh, me too. This was all right. This was an interesting movie. So we can finally kind of dig into this a little bit and talk about how we feel. First off, I'll say this movie isn't nearly as good as I expected. I'm not going to say this is bad. This movie isn't terrible or anything by any means. And I can totally understand why anybody would find this entertaining. But on the scale of like, compared to like Roadhouse and Ghost, like some other Patrick Swayze movies, this one wasn't as like, it wasn't as fun. This one more so felt like an excuse to see Patrick Swayze dance and grind. I mean, it's definitely impressive to see Patrick Swayze dance in this movie. I gotta say, like, I'm very, very impressed with his moves in this. Like, wow, this guy could hustle, right? Oh yeah, I would say he must have actually like probably been a pro at ballet or something before this. Yeah, and it's like, as ridiculous as it is, it's like seeing John Travolta in Saturday Night Fever. You're like, wow, like he's actually can do. There's some sort of moves he can do, like maybe as goofy as they look at the time. It's hilarious, right? Because in this movie too, like I said, there's scenes where like Patrick Swayze's dressed up like a bullfighter. He's dancing around like a pirate or something. He's got these little puffy shirts, like Prince, and that's what it kind of seems like the '80s, where they're wearing these like waist high, like tight little dress pant kind of things. It's amazing, right? So, yeah, but I think you're right there. You touched on something that I think is correct too. Maybe it's just because I don't know. Maybe we're not the demographic for this Swayze movie, but like I didn't even think it's not bad. But to me, for whatever reason, I don't understand why this movie is as popular as it is. Like it's not bad, but I wasn't impressed. I was like, okay, the dancing is very impressive and stuff too, but. And then the soundtrack, I think, is really kick-ass. That's what I was just going to say. It's the soundtrack. That's why this is regarded as well as it is. It's the soundtrack and that ending scene. That last 5 minutes with I've Had the Time of My Life. And that's an awesome scene. It's good. It's a good dance. If it wasn't for the songs behind this movie, I don't know if it would be as popular. I don't know. I mean, people love Patrick Swayze. And he's great. This guy, be a bartender, Patrick. Be a ghost. Be a dirty dancer. Like this guy can do anything. Yeah, you're right though. You have something magnetic about his personality, and just like, yeah, he's obviously a good looking guy. He's like
good shape or whatever too. This guy can move. So there's a lot of things going for Patrick Swayze, I think, in that aspect too. Yeah, you're right though. I think to me, the music is the best part about this whole movie. Really, again, Hungry Eyes, what a great song. Just the songwriting in that, I think it's really smart. It's great. And I can just listen to that on repeat forever. I think it's great. And I think that's what sucked me in about this movie too. It was like watching Footloose again last year, or any of the movies that we've watched for this podcast, I guess, in general, where there's something about the movie that maybe I'm not really into, but the soundtrack hooks me into that movie, and then I get kind of absorbed into that world for a little bit too, just because I'm just listening to that music all the time, and I'm like in that headspace. Except I did like Footloose. Footloose was a great movie, I thought too. But just that whole music, it pumps you up, puts you in those spaces, and like you see those montages when you're listening to it and stuff too. So I gotta say, for the past week here, getting ready for this movie, I've had a blast listening to Eric Carmen, and I've had the time of my life and all that kind of stuff. So, it's an enjoyable movie, but I'm not really interested too much in seeing Dirty Dancing ever again, though, I guess.
Before I watched this movie, I really wasn't I was trying to guess what it was about. Obviously, I knew that there was going to be dancing involved. I thought it was going to be a lot more like Footloose. I thought that this was about like an underground, or well, I guess not really underground, but like a secret barnyard club where people just like dance, which is sort of what it is, but it's not really. That just happens to be a place where a whole bunch of dirty dancing takes place. I didn't know that it was going to be like this weird story arc where Patrick Swayze and this young girl were just going to become obsessed with each other over dirty dancing. and that's it. Like, and there was this build up to like this talent show and all that, but we didn't even see anybody win or lose or even perform at the talent show. So there seemed like there was setting up things that they didn't really pay off on. And hey, Patrick Swayze's going to dance, dirty dance. And that's, it seemed like the whole movie was built around that. That's
100% what I thought too. Again, I never saw this before, and I didn't read a synopsis or anything for this. I thought legitimately that it was the same thing. I thought it was like going to be an underground club where everyone just dirty danced. I thought it was going to be this sort of stuffy resort where that kind of dancing is frowned upon, and they're going to sneak away and have this whole little dirty dancing world, and then they would get caught dirty dancing. Maybe then they can't be together, and then they can be together later on. Like that kind of happens, like you said, and there's kind of that, but the dirty dancing part is kind of not really the whole part of, like, this is not really the main part of the movie, right? Like they dance, and I mean, like doing a salsa or merengue, that doesn't seem like that's dirty dancing. Like when they were in the club grinding on each other, like that was some greasy, sweaty dancing, right?
But I guess like for the 60s, that would be considered dirty dancing. Now that we're like 20, 30 some years, 30 or 40 years ahead now, close to that anyways. If you've seen Christina Aguilera dirty, that's nothing.
Yeah, no. But just doing the salsa or the merengue or whatever, that doesn't seem like that's dirty dancing, even for the 60s. So that's what I mean. Like that, they were just doing that at the club, right? Like the girl got hurt because they were the dancers. So I mean, like it's a good point. It's like why is the dirty dancing even there in the thing? Because it's not even really a factor in the movie.
No, it's not. Besides that they hide it.
Yeah, the point of the movie is just that they have a dance tryout that they go to, and then they don't, and then they have, well, she fills in, and then they have a romance. So there's no real need for dirty dancing in this movie.
No. And every time, even though they're hiding it, they're still like performing it anyway. So it's not like, I don't know. They're not grinding as hard when they're performing.
Yeah, but like it's kind of also seems too that everybody knows it. Everyone's walked around like Max again is like, to the bus boys, and everyone else is like, hey, don't sleep with the guests. But then he knows that this is obviously going on here. He's like, because then he turns around to the other guy and he's like, yeah, we call them the bungalow bunnies or whatever, right? So he knows this is going on. And he told Swayze, he's like, keep your hands off her. But he knows this guy is giving her private dance lessons,
So that's basically my thoughts on Dirty Dancing. The first time I watched it, I was like, this isn't that great. The second time I watched it, I enjoyed it a little bit more. Like, because, I watched it twice in the past week. Second time was a little bit more enjoyable. But overall, this is not one of my favorite Patrick Swayze movies.
Yeah, no, I would actually agree with that too. I mean, obviously Roadhouse to me. I mean, that's more of my like bloody beat 'em up kind of.
Not sure if we're gonna get better than Roadhouse.
No. Yeah, obviously I want to see Jeff Healey play some stuff while he's getting balls thrown at him. People are getting stabbed. That's pretty awesome. But, you know, again, the soundtrack and this is good. So at least that's something that's worth listening to. It's then just that factor. It's great, man. It's beautiful. So if nothing else, just listen to Dirty Dancing soundtrack or this podcast, you know? So yeah, I guess that's where we'll leave this one for now.
I think that's a good place to stop.
So that's where we'll leave it here. Starting off season 2 here on a strong note, I think. We'll just, we'll leave you with a little bit of advice from Patrick Swayze.
You just put your pickle on everybody's plate, college boy, and leave the hard stuff to me.